Well, first off, gotta say that you're really, as the English would put it, brilliant. Um, you make me feel like my brain is working in slow motion. Um, you're really eloquent, just really well composed stuff. On the issue of morality, though, I have a problem with that word. I mean, as an atheist, because it's a word based on morality is always about dogma. It is exactly that. Where do you get it? Where do you buy it? Where do you find it? Who, gives it to you? I mean, it's, it's a stupid. Yeah, it's the wrong concept. I mean, it wouldn't be in my vocabulary if I was writing the dictionary, because it doesn't mean anything. It's not. It's the fashionable word, morality, but the real word is ethics. Ethics is what you're talking about, I think. I mean, where do you people get what are their ethical guideposts? What is the ethical equation, they calculate to decide how they're going to interact with the rest of the world? And that ethics comes from your knowledge base. It comes from a logical conclusion based on other conclusions you've drawn about the reality you live in. I mean, obviously, if you're an atheist, you believe we were contrived by crude forces, and so there's no guidepost in nature. Nature's not going to tell you what's right and wrong, and so you've got to construct an understanding of your place in the universe and what you have a right to do and what you don't have a right to do, and to understand how important your needs are versus someone else's needs, and all these are all ethical questions. And I don't think they have any. I don't think there's some simple 10 commandments or something you can write on a piece of paper. Obviously, the golden rule replaces 9 out of the 10 commandments. Okay, you don't need the 10 commandments if you just follow that rule, because then you're not going to cheat your neighbor, and you're not going to steal, and you're not going to kill, and you're not going to do all this stuff because you want somebody to do it to you. But then it gets a lot more complicated. You can't just have a ironclad rule that fits all situations. We usually don't have to make a lot of critical life and death, the world and the balance kind of decisions in our lives. But let's say if we did. I mean, let's say if you had the power to kill Adolf Hitler in 1930 or even 1925 or 1910, whenever. I mean, the obvious answer is, oh yes, you'd kill him. But we don't know whether World War II was a necessary evil or not. Maybe we needed Hitler to prevent a bigger problem later. What if Germany didn't go to war, waited 10 years, got the nuclear bomb, and then enslaved the world with that power? Or used that power, and what if the United States got the bomb too, and they had a nuclear war in 1950? There could have been a worse, as bad as it was, there could have been a worse Holocaust. We don't know how things would have evolved. We don't even know what it would have done to our cultural morality not to have that war, because maybe it taught us some things. It seems apparent we don't learn much from wars. I mean, obviously we're in another stupid religious war, another stupid war about ideology and about imposing some false notions of morality on other people, when what we should be fighting for is just ethics. We should be fighting for that golden rule kind of thing. We should be demanding from all societies that they respect individual choice in private affairs, and we don't even demand that of countries like Israel that can decide you're not a citizen because you're not the right race. I mean, why are we supporting a country that has those kind of attitudes? So but yeah, I mean, I really like everything you say is brilliant. And I know the word ethic doesn't have the magic of morality. It's just, this really is the imbecility that we can't even talk about things, religion or anything else, philosophy, anything, without having to placate all this pop culture crap. because everything has to be presented, and you have to put a pretty face on it, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. You have to hide everything with all this sugar and candy and crap, and it's just not good enough to say it. It has to be said, poetically, or to a jingle, or to something else. And so maybe that's why you don't use the word ethics. But to me, you're asking about ethics, logical conclusions about what's right and wrong, about appropriate, about efficiency. I mean, it's an equation almost. Ethics is an equation. You have to figure out, well, what's on once in every decision. There's what's the negative and what's the positive. What's the cost effectiveness? How much is going to be paid for this solution? Is there a better solution? And that's really all ethics is demanding of you, is to find the best solution, the best answer. Maybe there's no perfect answer, and so I don't think some monolithic, or whatever the right word is, some stagnant thou shalt not crap ever works. It just can't be applied in any kind of rational way. I mean, even the thou shalt not kill. Well, of course, what are you going to do? Thou shalt not kill somebody who's raping my daughter? Where do you go with that? I mean, you can't make an iron rule that says you can't kill. It just doesn't make any sense. But you can make a constitution that says, in theory, that you don't have a right to oppress others, and you can't take even if you're a majority, you don't have the right to impose your will on other people beyond these boundaries. And that's ethics. That's the important. Those are the important limitations we put on ourselves. The agreements, the contract we make with each other. It's like a contract even with ourselves, that we're going to honor certain rules of the game. That we're both going to agree. We're going to shake hands. We're going to shake hands with the umpire, and we're going to say, okay, these are the umpire's the rules of the game. We're all going to play by these rules. And that's morality, that's ethics, that's really the important question, because that's where it comes up in every part of our lives. In every decision we make, we have to decide, who's going to pay for that decision, and are we taking too much, or are we giving too little? It's very complicated. I mean, every question is very complicated if you really look at it, because of finding the perfect answer, which we tend to want to do. It's not always going to be obvious. So anyway, your videos are great. Really appreciate what you've done, and there's my answer to the question.